This is my boy Perry Tools. I got him on the intro for episode 40 of the Black Frequency Podcast. Check out that boy new song, Perry Tunes, lovely. Shout out to Perry Tunes. I'm feeling so lovely, all this drip up on my body. I'm looking so lovely, all these racks up in my bank account. It's feeling so lovely. Feel like Mike Jones, back then you didn't want me, now I'm hot. You all on me, don't got the time. I'm just focused, stacking up that money. Haters gon' hate, that's just what they do best. I'm feeling lovely, I ain't got time for the stress. Feeling so lovely, no time to stress. Remember them days I was broke in the best. Tell them what I asked, try to get that bag. I remember them days I was up in the trap, I was up in school trying to make it work. In the whole way I was pushing that work. Yo, what's good, everybody? This your boy Carlton Irvin, aka C Smooth, host of the Black Frequency Podcast. I'm here for episode 40 with my co-host. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So go ahead.
Nick Espinoza _215. Check me out on Instagram. You already know. You know what I do. Let's go.
So episode 40. It's crazy because I don't even have a title for it yet. I was thinking of a title, but I think I'm gonna name it Pronouns, Ukraines, and niggas. No, no, I and look, no, don't get the title. Like, look, it's nothing bad. It's just some of the topics. I usually try to name the titles based on the topics we're gonna talk about. So today we're gonna talk about like the use of pronouns and how to we're gonna react to this clip of pronouns on the Dr. Phil show, and then we also going to react to some Ukraine information and just certain topics. So without further ado, we're gonna hit this. I really don't know which topic I want to talk about first, but I'm gonna go with the pronouns topic first because we're gonna hit that one first, I think. So I'm gonna share the screen real quick. Before we share the screen, I would want to say this is crazy because it's like I was literally on a hiatus for 2 months, right? And now we back full steam ahead. So 2 straight episodes dropping, and there's going to be many more to come. Follow me on YouTube, Black Frequency Podcast, on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple, iTunes. My co-host, you can follow him too. What's your info, Nick?
Views Podcast on YouTube. And also my Instagram, Nick Espinoza _215.
Okay, cool. Now let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna share the screen. We're gonna go ahead. And I'm gonna go to my profile real quick. As you see, y'all seeing all my business on my Instagram page. But
we still have this Pornhub up there, guys.
We're gonna go to this joint right here. And we're gonna react to this because I saw this a couple days ago and I thought it was interesting. And I think a lot of people can relate to what this guy's saying. So I'm gonna play this real quick. Let me turn the volume up a little bit.
You want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and no matter whatever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different. With children, you know, there's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question: what is a girl? That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel. Actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl. Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman? Well, can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female. You know, here's the thing: when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being. I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word. So what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own.
But listen, tell me what the word means, though. So
you want to reduce women, you want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood, and turn it into basically a costume that can be worn. Reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean,
So I think, me personally, this debate was between and mind you, I do reactionary videos, so eventually one of these episodes I'm probably going to react to this video fully in full, but it's between Matt Walsh and Addison Rose Vincent on a Dr. Phil show. But this guy, like Matt Walsh, I think he really explained it, and he explained how a lot of people feel because, you know, with the LGBTQ movement and everything like that, and the pronouns and stuff, like me personally, I never got that shit. And I refuse to, like, if somebody was to say, you know, I want you to address me as she or him or something like that. And I know that you're like, what is it? A girl or a boy, and you're not what you say you're, I'm not going to want to address you that way. Like, you can't force somebody to make you identify with what you identify just because you want to be called that way. Like the guy said it plain and clear. Like, I can be a tomato plant if I identify that, but that doesn't make me a tomato plant. And I really think he shut this guy Adam Rose down. Like, and it was proper because these pronoun shit is so confusing. And I ain't even gonna lie, like I'd be so fucking confused. Then it's like you trying to, if you bump into somebody that wants to be called that and you don't want to call them, then now you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you know, you're shaming the gay community, you're not for gay people. It's just crazy. It's like, and I think we're getting to a point where people are tired of this shit. Like the people because people respect the LGBTQ. Like you got people that just hate them, but you got people that respect them, but they don't agree with this pronoun shit. Like, you're a man. Even on that stage, you say you don't identify as fucking woman or man. You're a fucking man. Like, biology says that you're a man. You were born a man. It's not, what is it? What did he say? It was like a umbrella term. No, it's not a fucking umbrella term. You're a man. Just like I'm a man. If I was born a woman, I would be a woman, but I'm a man. Like, so this pronoun shit is just getting way too out of hand for me, in my opinion. What you think about it, Nick?
Well, first of all, everybody know me, I'm an asshole, so I'm gonna point out the obvious. Bro, what the fuck was that on the screen? Period. Long hair, bearded. That shit so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
He looked foolish.
I'm an asshole. Look, he looked foolish. But and that's just me.
But I ain't gonna judge him based on his looks though.
No,
if he want to look like that, he can look like
that. If
he
want to look like that, he can look like that.
That shit look foolish to me though.
His eyebrows was on fleek though. They were sharp. But I ain't gonna lie, I can admit that shit. But that's just me cracking jokes, y'all. I'm always gonna crack jokes at certain shit that look funny to me. It doesn't mean I'm really targeting you or anything like that. But in all honesty, the other guy, he was right. I agree with him 1,000,000% because, like you said, you identify as a tomato, and then you gonna make somebody, he's not a man or a woman, he's a tomato. Like, that shit don't add up.
Yeah, it don't make
up. It just don't work. Like, and I remember I had this conversation with my daughters, actually, because they think I'm homophobic and everything like that. I said, no, I'm not homophobic. And I hate that I have to say this, but I said, you know how many gay friends your dad got? I said, I got a lot of gay friends. I said, now this is situations where I'm like, yo, calm that shit down, whatever. But I had to break it down to him, and I showed him this Ben Shapiro video about the basics things of there's only two genders, it's man and woman. You could want to identify as whatever you want, but you can't deny the DNA that's in you that tells you if you're a man or a woman. Even if you had stuff surgically removed and all the other shit, but it can still tell you if you was a man or a woman. I said there's only two genders. There isn't no mixed genders and none of that. And I had to break it down to my daughters. It's not that I have an issue with LGBTQ. It's just that, like you said, these pronouns and other shit, you gotta identify as they, him, and shit like that. Like that shit will piss a person off. That's like just like I ain't gonna, because I don't want to say a regular person, because then it's gonna sound like I'm saying that transgender people aren't regular people. They regular folks too. So, but just it's just what I'm used to. It's either he or she, not them, they, or I identify as neutral and all this other bullshit. Like my whole alphabet is even fucked up. Like I can't even say my alphabet straight anymore because of all these pronouns that they want and shit like that. And it may sound offensive, but that's being reality. Like you got LGBTQ. I think there's an R now. I'm not sure. Like what's next? Because eventually I think that whole line might take the whole fucking alphabet.
And it's crazy because I was watching some videos like kind of like that was on this topic, but like it wasn't quite this video, but it's like they be teaching like children at a young age that you can have pronouns and you can associate as this and that. And like the children, like I saw this video, the children went home, like these children in kindergarten went home and they told their parents what they was being taught, and the parents were like offended and like they were mad about it because it's like you getting these children at a young age telling them they have to identify as that, they can identify as that. It's confusing them. Like you got to understand that like these kids are young. Like your brain's not fully developed. Your brain really not fully developed until you probably hit maybe 2021, really. Like 18, I think for the males like 18, but sometimes like your brain develops throughout life and
Yeah,
like,
and it's the level of understanding. And then on top of that, here's the issue with that too, because I agree with you on that. First and foremost, you're teaching my children that you don't have my permission to. You're and I hate to say it like this, but that's kind of a way of, it's like pushing your own agenda instead of letting children be children. And that's the thing. Like when we was growing up and children for us, we never really had to think about that or this, that, and third. But our parents let us be children.
Yeah, they let us be children.
Let us be children, play, get dirty, play the game, wash up, eat, all that. It's not, oh, hey son, you gonna identify as a girl today? Hey daughter, you gonna identify as a man? No, it was none of that.
Yeah, and now it's crazy.
And I tell people this all the time, because there are parents out there, and I think you spoke on this before previously in the episode before, where there are women that sit there and make sure, like if they're a lesbian, make sure their daughters are going to be lesbians by telling them this the right way and this and third. Like you gotta let your child figure that out on their own. Be there to support them, but let them figure it out. But I don't think it's okay if you got a 12-year-old or a 5, 6, 7-year-old that can sit there and say, yeah, I'm attracted to boys. I'm attracted to girls. You know what I mean? Or I'm attracted to girls, and it's the opposite gender. It's the same gender, whatever the case be. I just don't believe that.
And it's crazy because it's so confusing that like when you say like when you confuse them at a young age, they think that they're attracted to certain people and they're not. And it's like it's crazy because society be applauding applauding parents and applauding kids for coming out as homosexual or coming out addressing themselves as certain things and stuff like that. But when a man stands up for you know, the right to raise his child, or not even just a man, but a parent in general, a father, a mother
to
raise
raise
their
their child as a
child,
woman,
they
and to
get
raise their child as a
yeah,
man, like raise their boy as a man, and
and
raise
raise
their
their girl
daughter
as a
as
girl,
a
yeah,
girl.
as a woman, and they get condemned for that. And I
Or
think it's
you get the stink eye, get the Hawaiian stink eye, and they look at you like you did something wrong.
yeah, and it's like it's crazy how, like, you know, they like, and I mentioned this in the previous podcast, like episodes back, you know, how they will condemn people like Lil Boosie for speaking his mind and his opinion on that whole D Wade situation. And but like, you know, they applauded D Wade for you know, supporting his son and everything like that. And my whole thing was like, at 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, you're not fully developed to really make that decision. Like, who's influencing you? Like, some of the stuff you hear from like certain children around the world and just what they be spreading is like really damaging. Like, you're really not allowing children to be children. And this whole pronoun things, like it was pronouns. You can't, like, now, like what you call, I meant to post this though, but Adele was criticized for saying that she was accepting an award, and if I'm not mistaken, her quote was like, "I am glad to be a woman receiving this award," and they automatically shamed her on Twitter, saying that she was being transphobic or
Yeah,
something
fuck
like
them.
that. I'm
Fuck
like,
them.
what?
I'm
So
sorry. I'm
now
sorry.
you
Fuck
can't be
that.
now you can't say that you can't even say that you're glad to be a woman in this society. Like our society is fucking jacked up right now,
No,
and it's like
they jacked
everything
up, and we don't got the right drugs right
and
now.
everything is like, and it's crazy because I mentioned this a couple times on my podcast because I see this constantly. Everything is kind of like a domino effect. If you really think about it, how feminism came in, and it was at first about, you know, women's equal choice. Now it's kind of just about, like, it seems like it leads to emasculation of men. I feel like a lot of men are being emasculated now, and then it's like they're trying to force our young men to choose certain shit to like take their masculinity down. Like, kids be so influenced by certain shit, they don't even know that they not doing something that's like doing something that's like not to their nature. Like, it's just crazy. Like,
No, I agree with you because here's one of the best things my mom ever did for me, and this is why I truly appreciate my mom so much. When it came to religion, now my mom, she was brought up Catholic, but she didn't never force us to be Catholic, Christian, Muslim, or anything like that. Only thing my mom told us is, you know when you right, you'll know when you're wrong. But also, she said, I'm gonna tell you that there's a God and you'll find your way to it, one way or another. And she left it at that. She never sat there and said, you gotta be Catholic, you gotta go here, and this, that, and the third. No, she said, I'm not gonna judge you on whatever religious choice you make. But she said, all I'm gonna tell you is like, yo, there is a God or a supreme being, as others would say, and eventually you'll figure it out and you'll find your way.
I
She
worship
said,
tomato plant Jesus.
my man.
It's like, no, let me stop.
Dumbass, I worship tomato plant Jesus.
But now it's like hard to really like, you know, you're fighting against forces out there as a parent. Like,
no, because look, my daughter told me she has my daughter's 12. She has a 12-year-old friend that says she's a lesbian. And I told my daughter, I said, she don't know what the fuck she talking about. And my daughter's like, you're transphobic, you're phobic. And I said, no, she don't know what the fuck she talking about. I said, she not even being a kid. I said, yeah, I said, let me explain something. You see all this shit I got on TV now and everything else. I said, all that shit wasn't on TV when we was there. We didn't have all these stupid ass reality TV shows and all this other bullshit that you're seeing. And we just had fucking cartoons, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon, fucking Captain Planet and shit. So we had Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks, and all that. So like Dragon Ball Z, still Dragon Ball Z out here today, thank God. But I told her, I said, we had a lot of different stuff. And I said, y'all were outside more. I said, and this generation, y'all motherfuckers inside on the iPad, on the iPhone, and YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know, not to cut you off, but
go ahead.
When you talk about like your daughters and stuff, I find it's crazy because like even when I like talk to my nieces, I realize how gullible and influence young females can be when they hear this stuff. Because some of the stuff that like I heard coming even out of my niece's mouth, I'll be like, what?
Like what? Yeah, like,
yeah,
what?
like and and now it's like
about? Like what?
It's like it's hard to be like, because even when you're not putting your foot down, but even when you're telling certain stuff as a guy and your perspective, sometimes it can even get misconstrued by like the society so jacked up. Like even you know, your significant other spouse might not agree with how you said something, even though you feel like you're right or something like that. But like it's like I be listening sometimes to my nieces and I just be like, yo, my thing be like, you have to really research this shit. Like, don't just follow something because somebody said it or it sounds good to you. Because what they do in the media is they play off of female emotions and feelings, and they be getting the females behind all of the top causes out there. If you look in the LGBT movement, it's a bunch of it's like a lot of females. There's a lot of females that be behind that movement. Feminism, you know, females be behind that heavy and everything like that. The advertisement, they got the females, like you'll see commercials where it'll be like dudes looking dumb out here and the females kind of correcting them and everything like that. And it's like, even like, and I never really mentioned this, but when I saw the movie Encanto, the movie was a good movie and everything. But one thing I noticed in the movie was, even though it was a good movie, it was a little sing-along John. I enjoyed it. They had like the females in like,
you can't.
huh? You said what?
Not you can't tell.
Oh, Encanto, but they had like the females like
Still said it wrong.
They had like the roles reversed where like the females were like in a position of power and like the men were dumb and goofy and shit like that. And I just feel like, you know, the roles are like not subliminal, but like they're trying to force the roles to be reversed. And now it's like, you know, we just be living in a society where we say something, man, that should be like, no, nigga, no. Like, but yeah, it's crazy because with this topic, you can really go deep and down inside the rabbit hole and shit, and really like
you get canceled like a motherfucker.
I mean, the thing about it, man,
oh,
on
well,
some real
I
shit, like
care.
I'm not worried about being canceled or anything like that, because you want to know how I see it. Your voice can't be stopped. No matter if this podcast can blow up to have millions of followers and subscribers, and they look back on these past episodes and somebody will always have something to say, because when your voice is out there, you're going to affect a lot of people, and a lot of people might agree with you and a lot of people are going to disagree with you. But I don't really believe that somebody can be canceled. The only thing I believe is that somebody can say an opinion that can affect that person on a financial level. But when they say cancel, I think they mean as in a term of like, they don't want that person to speak no more, or they don't want to hear them on any platform. If that's the case, I don't think you can be canceled. Like, but having your finances taken away from you, or like having your money slow up because of something you did, I don't really think that's just being canceled. I just think that's like being kind of blackballed.
Yeah. So overall, with that video you played, I'm actually gonna look for like the whole thing. I want to watch that
Yeah,
whole episode.
I do too. I was actually
Because
watching it
I
earlier
think
today because I was gonna break it down for real, for real.
yeah, I think it's real dope. But the dude definitely did have some solid points. And once again, you seen another person shut up.
Because they know it's the truth.
Because they know it's the truth, right?
Like
and,
you just
and the thing is like, look, here's the thing, real shit. I don't have an issue with LGBTQ, and I think it's R. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't have an issue with it. But it's just certain things like y'all just gotta chill with. Like and here's the thing. Like I tell people this all the time, and even I had conversations with my gay friends and shit and everything. And other friends, whatever, you know, they'll sit there and be like, yo, no, sometimes people just take that shit overboard and they need to chill the fuck out. Like, just be who the fuck you are. Like, no one really cares. It's just be cool. Like, if you, I mean, just be who you are. It don't really fucking matter. It really doesn't. Like, me personally, how I look at it, it's just like, I never cared about your sexual orientation. If you cool, then what's up? That's it.
I'm like,
and it's a lot. It's a lot of people. No, matter of fact, I ain't gonna say a lot. Majority of people out there that are like that, they don't care what you are, as long as you cool. We good. Like even if you was a
that's
fucking alien,
that's how it be.
Yeah, even if you was an alien, like you came down from outer space,
I done like
you ain't trying to kill us. I'm like, yo, what's up? We cool. That's what's up. We cool. We love.
Like I smoked weed with a gay person before. I ain't look at it like, you know, some people look at it, you smoked weed with a gay person. Yeah, I smoked weed with a gay person. He was cool though. But
they probably had a million jokes on it. You know?
Yeah, people had like a million jokes.
Tell me this. I'm pretty sure someone said, yo, and this is a joke.
Yeah, I already know where you're going with it.
They're like, yo, yeah, another man's dick on your lips.
I heard that, but I mean, like, I knew the boy was cool with everything, so I ain't even really think about it like that. Because if you really think about it, like, even when you smoking with a female or something, or you smoking with dudes that you don't think might be straight or anything, you don't know where they lips been, and like at the same time, I could have in my lifetime smoked with dudes I thought was straight. And they probably done some crazy shit I never knew about. Like, so I mean, like
they could have ate ass and somebody farted in their mouth and they just smoked weed with you.
Now me right now where I'm at in life, like I wouldn't do that right now because I just don't like, if I gotta smoke, I don't really smoke with a lot of people. I smoke by myself, or shit, I'll smoke with you if I had to. But but if you cool, you cool. And something was just on my mind that I wanted to say, that I can't remember exactly the fuck I was about to say. See, I was about to say something. I was gonna say something about shit, fuck it. I'll remember it. I'm trying to remember what the fuck I was about to say.
It'll come, look, before we end this show, it'll probably come back.
It probably will pop up.
So
because I'm trying to, and I just had it on the tip of, and I knew I was gonna forget that shit, but it's cool though.
Gentlemen, this is an example of what you call a brain freeze or a brain fart. Like in his mind, he just everywhere, and he's cleaning up right now. So he'll figure it out.
Yeah. My brain's still farting.
Yeah, but we definitely go to the next, John. Dude definitely has some solid points. He proved this point.
We're gonna go to the next topic. Let's share the screen again.
I identify as a tomato.
Yeah, tomato Jesus. I'm gonna go to this thing because I wanted to talk about this. I actually made a video about this. I would react to my own video, but I'm not gonna react to my own video. I'm just gonna play this video right here with the Ukraine stuff.
In Kyiv, the eerie wail of sirens, day 2 of Putin's war on Ukraine. The Russian army advancing quickly in the city of more than 3 million. Overnight rockets struck a residential apartment block. Ukraine's President Zelensky addressed the nation.
За наявною у нас інформацією, ворог
The enemy has listed me as target number 1. They want to destroy the country, he says. As missiles strike the capital, the city's metro stations turned into bomb shelters. This is still a functioning metro station, yet for so many people here, it's the only place they can go when the sirens go off. Nastia Gianti and her 13-year-old sister ran here as soon as they heard the sirens. Their parents made it to another shelter. Do you worry if something happens that you're not together? No. Of course, we're in touch every half hour, she says. Everyone will be traumatized after this. The children will be most traumatized. The war is being played out in near real time on social media.
Please praying for Ukraine.
This Snapchat video shot at the main railway station in the capital.
Situation become very bad here. All people wanted to go from Kiev. That's military. That's center of Kiev.
Maxim Shmerkovsky, one of the professional dancers on Dancing with the Stars, posted from Ukraine on his Instagram account.
This is going to be very, very bad. Very bad. This is going to escalate to extreme proportions.
Posts show the reality of war, documenting the conflict, the damage, and the dead. This post showing the chilling sight of Russian tanks positioned outside the nuclear power plant at Chernobyl. Back in the metro station in Kyiv, 3 friends making the best of a bad situation. When the sirens sounded, they brought their cat, sleeping bags, and food. They say they're ready if the Russian troops arrive.
We want freedom like it was before. Because in Russia is like North Korea.
A country that takes pride in its freedom, fighting to make sure it's not taken away. People here are arming themselves. The government is giving away thousands of weapons, including AK-47s. People are being encouraged to fight for their country. Savannah.
Aaron McLaughlin in the Capitol, thank you very much.
This morning in Kyiv, the eerie wail of sirens. Day 2 of Putin's war on Ukraine. The Russian army advancing quickly in the city of more than 3 million. Overnight rockets struck a residential apartment block. Ukraine's President Zelensky addressed the nation.
За наявну у нас інформацію, ворог
The enemy has listed me as target number 1. They want to destroy the country, he says.
Yeah, you can stop it, John.
Metro
replay
stations
now.
turned into bomb shelters.
Oh, we replayed.
This is still a
Yeah.
It's crazy because I made a video about that. And I made a video. I was in my car earlier, and I made a video, and it was titled "Are We Still Human?" And I realized, like, with this whole Ukraine situation, is like, I feel like years ago I probably wouldn't really care about it, but I guess as I got a little older, a little more wiser, my perspective on things has changed a little bit, right? So I made a video that said, "Are we still human?" And I realized because I was talking to my son earlier, and I just asked him, what did he think about the Ukraine situation? He kind of like shrugged it off, and I just was like, damn. And like the age of social media and stuff like that, sometimes I feel like, we get like, and just social media and technology, we get desensitized to what's going on in the world around us, because like we all are the human race. Like if fuck being black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever race you are, like we all connect as human beings because we all one thing. So when I see stuff like this, like the Ukraine and the Russia thing, it makes me sad. And it really makes me sad because you see the videos of parents trying to protect their children, hiding in shelters. I saw videos of Russian helicopters shooting missiles at civilian complexes, and kids crying and stuff like that. It's like really fucking sad. I saw a video earlier before we started the podcast. This Russian military tank went out its way to hit this, like to crush this car, like a person that was driving, like to crush the car. And surprisingly, the person actually survived after being ran over by a tank. Like so it's like, the world right now we in, like I'm not sure how many people in America really care about it, because we look at it as we not
It
being
ain't us.
directly affected by it, but we are being directed. And like we humans at the end of the day, no matter if you live in Africa, Afghanistan, Iraq, Russia, Germany, Britain, UK, whatever, like we could still identify with that, because even I know it'd be countries and people hate in the US, but if that was happening to the US, people around the world will feel bad. Like no matter, like, because we humans at the end of the day, and it's like I do think people should pay more attention to what's going on around the world, because the thing about it is we're living like we're millennials, right? So this is really our first time actually seeing a war play out in front of our eyes. No, 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 yes, it is. Because think about it. Look,
We had the Iraq war too.
they said the war on terrorism. Look, that was not a fucking war. That was a fucking slaughter. They just really ran, and like Iraq wasn't trying to fight back. The US just ran. That wasn't they said that was a war on terrorism. Everybody know, if you want to go into the conspiracy theories like we kind of was talking about earlier this week, that wasn't really a true war. They just did that to kind of scapegoat. The US had
it was a cover.
I feel like the US had some intentions behind that. I don't necessarily think it was a war, because we wasn't compete, like Iraq couldn't compete with us. Like Iraq is a bunch of rocks over there, like Cedric the Entertainer said. He was like, what did he say? He was like, it's a bunch of rocks.
I got a correction on that. It's actually
rocks and buildings.
Iraq is actually a beautiful country.
It probably is. I've never been there, but it probably is.
Don't look. It may have its desert parts and everything.
Nigga, have you been there?
No, but I got friends.
How you gonna say?
Listen. I have friends that been there. I have friends that served in Iraq 2 times. Okay, and they showed me pictures of Iraq. I said, "Wait a minute, this is Iraq?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "All they're gonna show you is the war-torn part." And he showed me other pictures. He said, "No, it's a beautiful place out there. Like." And it's insane. He showed me a picture of one of Iraq malls, and I said, "Yeah, mall."
Most countries do be beautiful, but they're
never really beautiful. We're never going to know unless we see it with our own eyes. Because what the media portrays, and it's never going to be a tourist destination. You know what I mean? But with this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia, like, it's pissing me off, because I've been seeing a lot of memes about the war. And that's unfolding in there, and I'm just like, yeah, like internet punks, to all them internet punks out there, your mothers, your fathers are fucking bitches, okay? Because first and foremost, they out there making jokes about these memes and with these memes and stuff, and I'm like, yo, it's fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, aunts, uncles, you name it, families in general, that are in the crosshairs of something they have nothing to do with. They're just people that's going to work. They're people that just trying to make a living. Like, this is insane. And like, I'm pretty sure if this continues, we might be entering World War III.
Oh yeah,
we may just be doing that, and a lot of us might be getting suited up.
And the crazy thing about it is they just
good.
Poland actually just a couple hours ago sent ammunition to Russia. I mean, no, not Russia, to Ukraine, to help them out. And Poland is a part of the NATO treaty, the NATO alliance. And I think Russia's a part of it as well. If I'm not,
Russia's not a part of it.
Russia's not a part of it. Oh Russia, because that's why Russia mad, because I think Ukraine joined the NATO.
And no, they didn't join yet. They have high interest in joining. They haven't.
And Russia still sees like Ukraine as their own, even though they're not. They're an independent country.
Yeah, they won their independence back in 91 or 92. I believe.
Yeah. But like what you said, like if Russia gets mad, because Russia said that Vladimir Putin said that it would be strict consequences, in which history has never seen, if a country joins and helps them out.
let me tell you something. What I honestly think that means is that if the U.S. get in,
Yeah,
any other country get in it, and
I
it's
really
crazy.
think it was for the U.S.
I think yeah, that was a direct shot at the United States.
Yeah,
If y'all get involved, we launching them missiles at y'all asses. We ready. And another thing, also, I read something. I don't know how true this is, but I got a news alert. It said China made a move on Taiwan as well.
no, they said that Taiwan had to warn them to get their aircraft out of their space. They had like
Yeah,
nine planes that invaded their airspace.
And I find it ironic that happens shortly after this. And my thing is, like I tell people all the time, look, I love my country, but our country isn't perfect. We may look good, but we're the bullies too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real, be realistic. We're bullies too. But the thing is, so that's why we always have a target on our back wherever we go because of what our government does. And one thing I do think, if this escalates even more, there could be a strong chance that China and Russia unite, and then we really got a problem.
But the thing about
China don't like us that much.
Like Russia, the United States has allies too. But
no, we got allies. But
at the end of the day, you don't want to see these countries going to war in general, because war is a very sad thing, and it's like, but like you said, we might be headed to World War III, because if the Russia attacks Poland for helping out, according to the NATO treaty, if a member, I think a country attacks any members in the NATO or something like that,
they all will respond.
I think what you call, I gotta search it up, but I do think Russia is a part of the NATO.
No, Russia's not part of NATO. If Russia was part of NATO, then trust me, they wouldn't be doing it right now.
It's going to be like 8 countries possibly attacking Russia if they attack Poland.
Russia, actually, I'll look it up real quick because I forgot what Russia is actually part of.
But it's just a crazy scenario, man. I do think people just need to wake up and be aware of what's going on, because everything ain't about us, like in terms of like everything ain't about us, you, me. Like, there's people out here dying and shit and trying to protect their kids. And the crazy thing about it is, I saw videos over there. The president is fighting on the front lines with them too. Their own president. He's dressed up in bulletproof gear, fighting with the army.
I think
the president of Ukraine.
Vladimir Klitschko's over there too.
And they actually, you can tell, I'm guessing their country really treat them right, because there's people over there fighting. They said that the men had to say goodbye to their family, because men that were 18 to 60 are forced to fight for the country.
Yeah, got no. Well, this country's rules and everything, so I get it.
But it seemed like they want to, though. And there's nothing wrong with it. I've seen some videos. They seem like they want to.
They look, the people in Ukraine, obviously they're proud of their nation. They're proud of their country. And I mean, looking at the images I see in Ukraine, it looks, before you see the explosion, so it looks like a nice place, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It don't look bad. But yeah, it's going to be sad. And I do think we're on the brink of World War III. Here's the thing: like, China has to choose its sides wisely, because if China was to back Russia, even though that's basically what it seems like. I don't think they're backing Russia, but if they were, China would be in for some shit too. But I wouldn't doubt either countries. And the thing is, I'll tell people this: you see how Russia made that move on Ukraine? I said pretty soon, and people think that I'm crazy for saying this. I said, us as Americans, we're so fucking lazy that we wouldn't realize that we're about to get inside attack from something. You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, I say, you gotta think about it, yo. No one hasn't really attacked U.S. soil in a minute. I said, if there's another World War III, and well, another World War basically, I said we're going to be in the trenches soon.
I
We're
don't
going to
think
get
that. I
like
don't think.
like
You know what? I'm not saying that we can't be
I
attacked
think
over here,
no, because I
but
think
I don't
Russia
think
got
nobody.
Russia got the balls to do it, and
They
Russia
do.
could do it. They got the balls. They'll do it. Trust me. You see what they doing in Ukraine, so don't think Russia ain't got the balls to sit there and be like, you know what, yo,
But
blast the rate
Ukraine
over
ain't the
there. We can
U.S.
put a whole front.
because Ukraine ain't the U.S. But the one thing you don't need to they don't need to get in war anyway, because between the U.S. and Russia alone, they have enough nukes to destroy the world.
Yeah, they both
So
do.
you definitely, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Russia has like 100 more nukes than the U.S. But the crazy thing is, like the U.S. is like the strongest military force in the world. Their navy is unrivaled. Like the U.S. Navy is the largest fleet personnel in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to make, if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to make at least like 500 something more fleets by the year 2030 or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
And real quick, to all my brothers and sisters out there that are in uniform for the United States military services, I salute y'all. We salute y'all. And we appreciate y'all 1,000,000%. Y'all always got our love and support.
yeah, I
Period.
agree. From the Black Frequency podcast, and I know it's crazy because when you just think about soldiers in the U.S. and soldiers around the world that have to follow these orders, they can't. They got families too that they trying to make it back home to, and some of them
They want to make it home to a birthday,
yeah.
make it home to a Christmas or 4th of July cookout. They want to make it home to
Yeah,
something.
and some of them won't make it home, and that's the sad reality of war.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we get a situation where it's World War III, it's going to be millions of soldiers that died.
Yeah, pretty
And I'm
much.
hoping it's not, but the way I think, like in every generation, you're probably going to see either a crazy disease break out that's going to wipe out people, or it's going to be a war that breaks out. And right now, I feel like this is the first war. Like World War III might happen in our generation. Like right now, we still in our youth in a way, but we might be talking about
we in our
this
golden ages.
65, 70 years old, talking about coming back to this podcast, talking about how we said that it's probably going to be a war, and we probably witnessed in the first stages of it, because it's no way that the U.S. is going to constantly sit back if stuff get out of hand.
Well, no, that's gonna think, and it's and you got to remember too. See, social, and this is I even hate to say this, but social media is going to play a big part of World War III. Twitter, Facebook. That's they're those two right there. They're gonna play. You're gonna see everything that you know you. my man thought he was nice. Drop the mic.
Look, I've been a little clumsy with the fucking audio this podcast episode.
Yeah.
I've been bumping shit, and now it's just that shit going. You gonna hear that shit bang in the background. Fuck.
Yeah, but no, we're gonna see some shit, and it's gonna be just as you imagine when you think about World War II, World War I, all the wars before we never saw, and the images that you're gonna see, and with social media posts and everything, because it's gonna be people there. We're gonna witness a lot of shit that we're gonna be like, no, you don't want that. We don't want war no more. Me personally, I'm not for war. I believe in defending my country. Yes, this is where I live. Even though sometimes, it's, as Anthony Andrews said in Blackish, you know, sometimes the country don't got my back. I still got it. You know, but I'm praying because I got kids. Even if I didn't have kids, war is something it's a one-way thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's seek, kill, destroy. That's it. It's not surrender. You surrender, we still won't kill you. It's like it's horrible. It's horrible no matter what country it is. It's something we never want to do, never want to get in with. You know what I'm saying? So my prayers are with Ukraine, and like I said, the internet punks out there, ain't nothing but a fucking bunch of bitches, and that's exactly what the fuck y'all are. Because making these memes up about this, they even made a memes about transgenders. They said what? And that shit was funny. I ain't gonna lie, I laughed at it. It was stupid though. But they had the Russian tank on top, and then it had the United States tank at the bottom, and it said us or them, and they're going to war and shit. And I said, you know what? I said, that's fucked up. I said, I see what they're saying, and I'm just like, yo, all these, even though it may have been funny, made you laugh, like, oh shit. Like, but the shit gotta stop because the war is no joke. It's no joke. None at all. And this is why I tell people, yo, a lot of people ask me why I really don't complain. And this is a prime example. You're about to have kids that's waking up to bombs or waking up to explosions, evasions and shit like that. Us as Americans, even though we may grew up in the hood and everything, we blessed to be able to do that. When we consider other things that goes on across the world, we're truly blessed to be able to fucking complain. So I really don't complain because I know somewhere there's a kid getting stolen in the middle of the night. There's a village getting taken over. There's a bomb being dropped somewhere that's not even reported on any news outlet and being hushed about. You know, there's countries that still low key getting invaded and taken over. You know, and his family's dying every day. You know, they don't even get a chance to even complain. Like I could complain right now if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people this: when you see shit like this, you need to be humble, blessed, and realize, like, yo, that could be you over there.
It could be anybody at any given time.
That could be anybody at any given time. And then that makes you sit there and think about what the fuck you doing with your life.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, these people want to do something with their lives. And now that shit is about to be upended because of some stupid shit they can't get over. Like, come on, man. Prayers for Ukraine.
But I'm about to go on to the next topic. I'll just close this drawing out by saying that I hope eventually that this war gets settled quickly and nobody has to jump in and eventually escalate to World War III. Because as a world, we don't want that. You don't need the top powers fighting against each other and smaller countries fighting against each other. You just don't need that. So I'm hoping that all this stuff gets situated and Ukraine can recover from all this damage that has been done. And I'm hoping Russia can back out and stop doing what they're doing. But I don't see that happening. But I'm just hoping that eventually this gets all settled within the next couple days. Hopefully weeks, months, whatever. It just needs to be settled. But let's go to the next topic right now.
I'm getting upset. You gotta go next time. I'm getting upset thinking about it. It's horrible.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go to this joint right here. We was actually kind of talking about something like this earlier. So we're gonna talk about this real quick.
Ask you what your thoughts are on the N-word and like the use of that in rap music, because obviously as a white person I've been brought up never to ever use that word, but a lot of the music I listen to says it 20 times in every song.
Sure.
So I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that, and like whether you think it's a word that's become obsolete or whether you think that there are negative consequences on the fact that it's so widely used.
I do. I very much do. I used to be someone who used the word all the time, as some of you may or may not know. I came to a stage in my life where one of my elders said to me, "You're better than that." And I started reading a bit more. I started studying the history of the word. I started looking at the brutality that had been underpinned by this word. Let me be clear, I'm not against people using the word. I'm just against the stupid idea that it's now become a term of endearment. It hasn't. It has so much blood attached to it. For me, it means what it's always meant. It is a term of white supremacist genocide. It is a word that says African people are not human. It was a way of reducing people to subhuman status, which led to, as I've said, to people being put in zoos or public lynchings in America, where someone could literally be barbecued in public, and people thought it was perfectly acceptable to bring their child, give their child a day of school to come and watch a person be barbecued in public. Rail systems would operate special lynching day rail cars. After the lynching, there'd be postcards with the dead person on front of it. They'd send out as souvenirs. So this is the history behind that word. If we look at early hip hop, when hip hop was a bit more independent, when hip hop was owned a bit more by the black community, we see that hip hop was completely offensive to everyone. You would say cracker, they'd say honky, they'd say nigger. You'd have Ice Cube making inappropriate songs like Black Korea. You'd have songs that NWA songs that were about killing black people. Hip hop was just completely like punk. It was just offensive to everyone. But someone decided somewhere it was no longer acceptable to say cracker and honky and those kind of words, but nigger was okay. And for me, when we look at who owns hip hop, Mos Def made a song called Old White Men is running this rap shit. It's called The Rape's Over. It was on a beat, the same beat that Jay-Z made The Takeover on. And that song was taken off of his album without his label telling it, because he criticized white corporate ownership of hip hop. He said some tall Israeli is running this rap shit, and that was taken to be anti-Semitic. Leo Cohen is tall and he's Israeli. It's a statement of fact. It wasn't anti-Semitic. Like, that's who's in charge of rap. It's not black people. And so I think that the use of that word has become, to me, very gimmicky, has become a dangerous way of glossing over the reality of what it was to be black in America. And certainly for me, as someone whose mother's white, I don't understand the motivation for white people to want to use the word. When people are like, oh, but why can't I use it? I'm white. Like, first of all, why do you feel oppressed by that? I'm confused. And knowing the history, why do you want to call your black friend nigger? Let's just deal with that for a minute. Because my mum's white, and she's never had the desire to say, look at my little nigger son. So I'm confused why people want to use the word. Now, black people can figure out for ourselves whether or not we think it's intelligent to continue using the word. But why are young white kids like, I just want to call, I just want to. This comes back to your question a little bit. This perverse sort of blackness is just a bit dangerous, and it's a bit sexy, and it's a bit violent. Ooh, can I say nigga, can't I? It's a little bit of that, yeah? But I don't think a song called Honkies in Harlem would get on Radio 1. But niggas in Paris will. We've got.
Did you start to develop feeling?
I'm gonna let you start off. What you think?
Nah, I remember that video. And it kind of goes back to, our whole argument. And then he pointed out something. He made,
This is a segment of Nick's Takes, Nick's unorthodox segment. Saying none.
So look,
No,
like,
just
my,
playing.
you put yourself. But no, so look, like my whole thing is that he's right. Yeah, what makes a white person want to say the N-word, right? And my whole thing is like, all right, we grew up in the hood. All we heard was nigga, 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 nigga this,
Still
nigga
hear
that, nigga that. And we still hear it today.
Mhm.
And I get everything he said and everything, but also I would point out where he stated that he said blacks made it as a term of endearment, right? And I also seen a post from Charlemagne the God. He said we should have never did that, which I agree with. You know what I mean? And that was my whole point. I was, in our long ass debate. So my thing is, should the N-word be banned? I think so. I think it should be banned on every rap song, but it's not going to happen. But he also made a point. Niggas in Paris will sell without an issue. Hunkies in Paris won't sell.
Yeah,
I mean, they won't, and they'll block you from saying hunkies in Paris, but niggas in Paris like, okay, it's cool. We could sit there and do that. So like my whole take is with the N-word in general and just it being used, like I really don't give a fuck no more at this point. Because I done seen Asians call each other niggas, white people call each other niggas. I done seen Canadians call each other niggas. Like every race on this fucking planet almost call each other niggas. Like especially if you grew up in the hood. I know the little punks out in the suburbs be doing the same shit, but like certain
I think
shit,
deep down,
it's just like you can't and they also made another point, and you made this point too. I think it was you or not, Felice, one of y'all, and y'all basically said, you don't know when you hear from a white person if it is as a friendly, like as we would say, yo, what's up, my nigga, versus a white person saying, you like, yo, you saying, are you being offensive to me, or you got a million questions because you wouldn't know. You know what I mean? So I agree with that, and I understand that. Overall, I think the word shouldn't be used, but at the same time, if we gonna keep using it and putting it in culture, because you gotta remember, hip hop is a black thing, but as they say, it's a black thing, started in the Bronx and everything like that. But hip hop evolved. Hip hop is the world now. You gotta think about it. You got hip hop is all over the world. I seen this Arabian kid spitting facts. I'm talking in Iraq, Palestine.
All over the world.
It's all over the world now. Like our culture, and that's what some people don't realize. That our we accomplished a lot with hip hop. We are all over the world, so we kind of help with that N word being all across the world. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
the thing about it is, it's like, I just thought about it, and when you were saying that, so many people the video saying so many people widely use it, and you heard people say this that wasn't like a black race and stuff like that. My thing is now, it's like, if a person can use it and they will use it in front of their friends, but when they get around a black person and they refrain from using it and they know it's wrong to use, don't deep down that kind of seems like they might be a little racist in a way, because and then it's like, you comfortable to use it around, like, it's like, do you kind of want to be black or something like that? Because like, when I think about it now, it's like,
well, hold, let me stop you right there, because you gotta realize too, a lot of folks do want to be black. That's a
yeah,
proven.
they
That's a
want to
proven
be
fact.
black, but they don't
But they don't want to. They
but
don't
they
want to
don't want to
accept.
be black. They want to be
Yeah, they
black, but
want to
they
be
don't
black,
want to
but they
be
don't
black.
want to be black. Right? Yeah.
Like,
So that's how that is. Yeah.
and the reason
That's how I say
the
that.
reason why people want to be black is because you got the
Cool as shit.
physical, you got the physical genetics, you got the swag to go. Every black person got some type of swag, even if they missing on certain areas. We all got a little swagger to us, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we not associate, but the way we communicate with other people of our race. Shit, and even with the nigga word, we even made that a swag in our way, even though we know how it was used, it could be used bad and stuff, but we even made that our own. So it's like, I just think that, like,
So in a way, based off what you said, we're kind of like pioneers, leaders in certain points and areas where a lot of people get offensive at.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Black people don't see the word nigga as offensive, and now
a lot of people don't. A lot of black folks
yeah,
don't.
like,
When they hear the word, see, here's the big issue with the use of nigga. Here's the big issue, and this is what I noticed. There are other folks that are not black that are offended by it. They're more offended by it than what we are. You want blank, bro. They're offended by a word more than we are. Like, if I was walking out in public and a dude came up to me and was like, "What's up, nigga?" and shit like that, or something like that, man, you have white people recording like, "Oh my God, you're so racist," and you know what I mean? I done seen plenty of videos like that. It's white people get more offended about the word than what we do now. And the thing is, because I think in the culture we have, we just like, man, fuck it. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna allow, like, for me personally, I'm not gonna allow a word determine who I am. I know who I am. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't care that the word's used. I don't care that other races use it. long as you don't use it as a racial term and this, that, and third. Like for me, I'm offended when you say nigger. Yes, people, I said it, nigger. I am offended when you say
Now,
the
we talked about this now, and we don't have to get into the whole loud debate we had, but I get
No,
what
that
you're
was
saying.
funny. Like I'm
Yeah,
offended that way, but it's
I don't want
just like
I don't want
it's
people
so
from other races using the word period. But
yeah. I don't need it, but like I
and
just don't care no more now.
the only reason I say that is because I know as a black person, like we said earlier, I won't go into anybody else's. I won't be hanging out with any other ethnicity, and I won't call them derogatory terms, because nigga is not the only derogatory term in the world. And like
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of words that are derogatory.
other people ethnicities use derogatory terms to address their own race. It might not be widely as popular as the nigga word, but it happens. But I know damn well I'm not calling I'm not going to Hunting Park and calling somebody a wetback or a spit.
There you go. I was about to say yes.
No, they used to call
they call Puerto
Cubans,
Ricans
Cubans wetbacks, because they used to say
well,
that.
yeah.
And that's not right. And I know damn well I won't call. I'm not going. Look, I'm probably gonna fuck around, and get beat the fuck up, shot, or stabbed, or even worse. Whatever is in somebody's mind, and I'm not trying to go through that.
Let's see. But look, but look. Here's the thing, though. That's where it all comes down on us, though. To be honest with you, it comes down to us because we made the word so acceptable. Everyone listens to our music. You know what I mean? White folks been home and saying, what's one of the song? What up, my nigga? This is a G, man. I forgot that song.
Because they be trying to be hip and cool and shit, but they wouldn't
they were
use it around a black person.
Yeah, because they know it would be offensive. But the thing is, they're hooked on it now, you know, because they love what we do. They love it. Like my thing is, it's like Tupac said. He said, because they try to ask someone, isn't that offensive to your own people? He said, well, when I say nigga, that's my homies. Those my brothers. Those my niggas. He said, you never hear me say niggers. He said, no. He said, that's racist to me. You know what I mean? So
I also think that, like, even with the N word, like they say, you won't catch hunkies on a Monday, whatever he said, number one on the radio, but you'll catch niggas in Paris on the radio. But I also think that's because Black people don't control their own narrative. It got to the point where now, if you go back, like if I could go back in time on my time machine, whatever, and I could make a change in Black culture, what I would do is keep hip hop, but I would make all the labels Black owned, because a lot of the messages that are being spreaded out there throughout music are not from Black owned labels. They're from white owned Jewish companies and people that they tell their artists, no, you can't make that song about educating the youth about STDs and protecting your shit while you're having sex. No, make that song about smacking a bitch and killing somebody and sipping that syrup, whatever, like doing drugs and shit. And you see that now in hip hop. Most of the songs, the top number one songs, got something to do with either sex, drugs, money, materialistic things, shit that has nothing to do with being progressive. And it's really like, and if you really think about it, it's really only like 2 or 3 top lyricists that can get their message across. Because it's like what you call I was looking at this interview, and I'm gonna compare this to, I can't remember, it was on the Breakfast Club. One of the comedians said, if you notice in Hollywood, there's only one person at a time when it comes to Black comedians that have the spotlight. And then when they fall off, then the next person comes. It's never 2, 3, 4 Black comedians on top at one time. And then when you look at hip hop, that's how I feel about the lyricists, Because if you really look at the best lyricists that actually spread a conscious message in a certain way, the best lyricists is literally like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. They're the top of the hill when it comes to lyrical conscious music. But you're not going to have 15, 20 top lyrical conscious artists on top of the billboards at one time spreading a message, because they don't want that to happen. Meanwhile, talent wise around the United States, you probably got a nigga that's better, that's way better than J. Cole out there, that's way better than Kendrick out there, that's at the bottom of the underground map because he can't get that buzz. He's spitting that real shit, but the radios and the labels don't want to hear that shit.
No, that's what's in demand. Like for example, I think
Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas.
Yeah, Joyner Lucas is nice too.
He should be up more higher than what he ranked at personally. When I first heard Joyner Lucas, I'm like, dude can spit. And then I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm like, oh shit, no, he got some shit. And I'm like, okay. But thank God for social media, because if social media went out, I wouldn't even know who Joyner Lucas is.
Because like it really is all about controlling the narrative. Like if black people for real, we be influenced too when we hear all this stuff. Like you could just see when you can walk down the street and somebody be like, you'll just hear somebody, I shot that nigga, back, nah, whatever they saying, whatever, and they be doing the hand movements, looking stupid and shit like that.
Yeah, it gets you hyped, bro. Like they put a dope beat. If you get a dope beat that people can vibe to, most likely they're not gonna give a shit what you're saying, because that's what half the music I listen to now and I hear. That's why I always listen to 90s era hip hop and everything before that, in the early 2000s and shit. But most of the shit that you hear now, that's all it is. And it's fucking poison, to be honest with you. It's horrible.
And like, look,
because I don't even know what the fuck they be saying.
If black people own more record labels, because it's like we probably have a good amount of black record labels owned, but it's not it's probably not a majority. Like it's not a lot to where it's going to overtake the narrative. Like if all these rappers be like, you know what, we buying out our contracts, we getting our masters publishing, and we just gonna start these labels, and no matter what they do, we still gonna build it. If they try to do something to destroy it, we still gonna build it, and we gonna build it piece by piece by piece by piece. I bet you the message probably in like 5 to 10 years will start changing. You'll probably hear something like, you wouldn't even hear it on the right owned station. You'll hear it on the black owned radio station or something. You'll hear somebody rapping about relationships, or rapping about financial shit, and it might not catch on, but then you will hear it and the next generation will be like, yo, that shit crazy, that beat crazy, but what he talking about that financial shit, he talking about, yo, and like, because we can't control what's put on the radio unless we buy the shit. If you really look at it, all the black owned labels always put out, like the best black owned label that was ever owned was Motown Records. And when you look back at their records was talking about having a good time, loving your woman, loving your man, building all this shit. They had their sad songs too, where a nigga might have fucked up and did something, and he was begging his girl and shit, please come back to me and shit. And it was the same, and it was the same. It was like even the same for the women. You had women like damn near crying, apologizing on songs for doing something. Like it could have been a song where a woman was apologizing and shit because she made a mistake and closed the door on somebody's toe and hurt them. I'm sorry, baby, I closed the door. We don't have shit like that no more. But like I know people say it's the oldies and shit, but it just goes to show you, when you have a black owned label that's truly black owned, the messages that can come out that label, versus when you have these white Jew owned labels that are they just want money. They like playing into where we come from, where we live, exploiting the youth, exploiting the black minds and stuff, and spreading this crazy shit all around the world.
No, that's true. That's true. And what's the big issue is that us as black folks, or like you said, we had good Motown records. They're not willing to stand up against that shit. They're not willing to change the narrative. You know what I mean? They're not.
Because the money
We
controls them.
yeah, because when you see them big checks, like okay, a lot of people gonna look as well. I don't want to stand against this shit because I mean missing out on millions.
But the crazy thing
I mean,
is like people not really getting like it's only really like out of 100% artists, R&B and hip hop artists, is not a big percentage of hip hop and R&B artists getting major money. It's really only like a 5 to 7% artists who know their business. They eventually get the money they get. Like most of like the record labels be designed to like really stranglehold the artists, keep them in debt and shit like that. And these rappers be rapping like they getting it because that's their persona. But if you really look at their finances, you'll probably see a nigga. Yeah, you'll probably see a nigga like, damn, dog, you owe 300,000. Like, yeah, dog, I ain't pay my taxes last year. Like,
yeah,
and it's like it's really like, and then it's like they be having it to now it's a little better because you can use streaming to get money and everything. It's more an independent grind. People trying to be independent, but like it's like if you like independent, you might not, you'll have the money and you'll be free, but you might not get the recognition you deserve as a major label would. And like you see all these artists be complaining about these major labels fucking their contracts up. Megan Thee Stallion, she's suing her label. She's saying she famous, but she not rich.
She sound like she got a TLC type contract.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like if you, I think like if I was a talented artist, and even with this podcast and shit, if somebody was to try to pick up this show, whatever, right? Before anything happens, before you sign anything, if that contract 200 pages long, you need to read every word of that shit. You gotta contact. You gonna have, first of all, you're gonna have to get a lawyer. Don't get a lawyer that's sponsored by their company. Get a lawyer that you pay so they can go over the contract and they can be like, all right, look, I read all 200 pages of this contract. I know you read it too, but I might understand a little stuff more. So here's what you will basically be getting this. They will be paying for this. Meanwhile, you gotta pay for that. You gotta pay for that. And if they do this, then you're gonna owe them that. This is how it's all gonna break down when the royalties and proceeds, generate and stuff. You're gonna have this. They're gonna have that. Do you think it's cool? And then that's when you be like, I don't mind being on the contract, but it's certain stuff that gotta be modified so that I can benefit. And then if the company not willing to work with you or benefit, then it's like, all right, well, you know what? I don't need to do that deal. But people be jumping straight doing the deals, and then next thing you know, 5 years later, after 2-3 albums drop, these motherfuckers damn near $1 million in debt to the record label. Or whatever like contract they signed.
It's like a high-end loan shark.
And then honestly, I really think this will be a thing. I really think that eventually, because I always said, well, this is never gonna happen because I'm never gonna be an artist. But if I was an artist, I would only sign a one album deal. Every deal I sign would be for one album. I'm not going more than one album because sometimes, like, you can be buzzing and sign a 5-album deal. But the thing about it is, by the time your second album dropped, if you was hot, your buzz might be at its peak, and then you might be going downhill from your second album. Like after your second album, you just be like, and then they go downhill. Like, so like why keep re-up? Why sign a 5 to 7 album deal when by your second, third album you might be ass? People might, that he old news. He had like 3 hits and it was done. And then you still owe the record company the fucking albums. And meanwhile, you can't generate what you really want to generate because your buzz not there. So I mean, a little sidebar topic. We talking about record labels and shit.
See, See, though, if I'm an artist, I'm gonna stick to independent. I might work on a distribution deal, but that's about it.
They
And
be
that's why
frowning on these independent artists
I
too.
yeah, that's like I always tell you all the time. You always hear me say like, "Yo, a lot of people don't give Master P props for how he maneuvered. Like, yo, the way Master P moves, how the moves he make, and what he do,
Mhm.
dude's a fucking genius. Like he literally is. He helped a lot of artists out in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. He ain't do no snake shit, no none of that. Like he literally did a lot of good shit in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they don't give Master P enough credit for what he accomplished, what he does, and everything. People try to say he broke. Yo, Master P ain't broke, and I'm gonna tell you that right off the bat. I said,
Man, I can't
I tell
say
people
any
all the
nigga
time.
broke that got way more money than me. Like
Well, yeah, that's
motherfucker,
another thing too. You can't
if I can
because
be
yeah,
Master
that's true.
P
But
broke, I
yeah,
would take it.
yeah,
What
because
Master? What
Master P
Rich
broke. Okay, yeah,
Master
sure.
P is wealthy. It's difference between being wealthy broke. Wealthy broke is like, man, I'm still worth 300 million, but I lost 100. Fuck, 100 million. Fuck. Like that's wealthy broke. You just lost 100 million, but you still got 300 million net worth. You look, man, I would trade being my regular broke to being Master P's broke. Because Master P's broke will last you generations. My
Yeah,
broke
and
ain't gonna
that
last
shows
shit.
the Master P ain't really broke.
I mean,
But no,
people be
I
saying shit,
always,
but how can
yeah,
you
they
say
keep saying,
Master
but
P broke? And then it's like, why focus on other people's finances at the end of the day? You should be worried about who said Master P was broke. It
the
was
whack guy,
the
the whack,
whack
whack,
man.
yeah, whack 100, that
This
guy.
bull whack 100, man. Just from what I see, um, he just like he probably do know a lot in the game, so I'm not gonna take that from him. But it's like he just talk.
Too
It seemed
much.
like he just instigate and gossip too much, and it's like when you first hear him, you first hear him talking about this stuff, you're like, oh, okay, but after a while, it gets to a point where, dog, why you just keep talking about everybody else's situation? Like it comes off as he's like trying to stay relevant or anything like or whatever. Like, and I don't dislike the dude or anything. I just know that he just keep talking. Like it gets to the point where it's like it's annoying. Like, bro, you keep talking about other people's situation. What are you doing? Like, I don't know, but what you call? We gonna go to this. I'm gonna this last topic gonna be the last
Hmm.
topic. I think we've been on here for about close to 2 hours, probably longer than the last podcast. But we're gonna go to this last topic and then wrap it up. Let me share the screen on.
Of thought. I was
Nope, that's not it. I was wondering if I could say the
Yeah,
N
I'm
word
not gonna
too.
lie, yo. You gotta watch British comic show. This shit is so funny, man.
All right, let's look at this, John.
It says Luke 17:21. You know, the little beginning, neither, blah, blah, blah. The kingdom of God is within you. Your Bible is literally telling you that Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. That sounds a lot similar to spirituality and how motherfuckers that are spiritual say that everything is within you. So stop looking outside of yourself for the shit that's within you. And it's saying in your fucking Bible. Sound like a piece of the truth to me because y'all looking outside of yourselves for things that you can't find on the outside. Going to church and all this other shit is not going to do it for you. You know why? Because what does Jesus say, class? The kingdom of heaven is within you. I myself, I used to be a Christian. I read that motherfucking book like it was a Harry Potter book, okay? So I know what the fuck I'm talking about. It seems to me that a lot of y'all haven't read that book. Why y'all want to talk about motherfuckers don't do their research? Bitch, you're not researching what the fuck you so-called believe in. You haven't done any fucking research because if you had done any research and you were a true believer or whatever the fuck, you would understand that some of that shit in that fucking book, in the fucking dusty ass religion period, is not making sense. When we're talking about Jesus and his teachings, let's go ahead and speak more on Jesus and who the fuck he is because he's not your fucking savior. And I'm about to tell you why. Go ahead and get some of the facts out the way that you black Christians, especially, y'all just eat this shit up. Jesus was black. Okay, I'll give you that. He's black. It says it in your Bible. You can go and read that. I'm sure y'all done read that one a million times. If anything, y'all done read that shit. It said his skin was, bronze and some shit like that, which isn't wrong. But let's dig. Who is this man right here that you might ask of? Caesar Borgia, or however the fuck you say that. This right here is the motherfucker you're worshiping. This is your Jesus. And it looks to me just like the one that they try to tell you. The depiction of the white man or whatever, that looked like him. Wonder why. This man right here is a pedophile and a fucking homosexual. This is your Jesus right here. You can go do some research on this man if you want to, but this is exactly where they got that from. But let's spit some facts about Jesus. For one, he clearly seemed to be a fucking witch. Now, I'm going to tell you why you're probably going to deny that and say, oh my gosh, no, he wasn't a witch. I'm going to tell you why he was. This motherfucker was turning water into wine. He was walking on water, bringing people from the dead. So anything about that man Jesus is that he taught people to go within. In other words, he was teaching them how to open their third eye and teaching them all of these things, and that's why they killed his ass. Jesus is not your savior. He was not some white man. He was a black, normal motherfucker that was teaching people shit, and that's why they killed him. His story was not meant to be worshipped. He was not meant to be this person that you just, that you worship. That's not what that was supposed to be. Story was stolen. That man's story was stolen. Okay, so this is the second scripture that I was.
Ooh, she spit some hot fire. Whew.
She had me in the beginning, middle, the end a little fell off just a little bit, but overall, I agree with what she said. That goes back to what I said about my mom. Like, basically you find it within yourself, basically. I'm not gonna force no religion on you, so that's true. The path to the kingdom and all to law. So I would think. Yeah, she called Jesus a motherfucker like, I don't know, like 3 times. He said, this motherfucker here, he wasn't this, he was this. I'd start cracking up. But she's right. Now, yeah, the story might have been stolen. I don't know about that part. And I guess was she basically saying that was that Jesus wasn't the son of God as they say? She said he was just a regular person teaching you shit.
Yeah, I've searched this up before, and I was telling you this earlier when we was talking like earlier this week. If you really want to search up the origins of the Christian religion, you have to search up the Council of Nicaea. They didn't have a face behind Jesus, and what happened was people started like doubting the religion and stuff, so they had to come up with a face behind Jesus of who Jesus was and stuff. And the guy that she mentioned, Caesar Borgia or some shit like that.
That was his lover. That was his gay lover.
He was the face of he was basically the face of Jesus Christ. Even if you search up some Jesus photos right now, like let me see. Let me put it to the test real quick. I'm gonna share the screen real quick just for a quick second. But I'm gonna go here, right? And let me search up Jesus. And you see the photos of them. We go to images. You see all these images of them, and the images that they kind of use, don't they kind of look like that guy that she showed?
No, yeah, that's true. I knew about that when I was a kid. My stepfather told me, he said, yeah. He said, and then I researched it myself. That made Jesus, yeah, the guy that drew him, that was his lover. That was it. So he drew him in the image of his lover.
And the thing about it is like, for the Black community, we've been raised up on Jesus and Christianity, or being a Jehovah Witness or something like that. But a lot of things we don't do is we don't really read like the whole Bible, or we don't really research the history behind certain stuff. Like I believe there is a God. I believe that there is somebody that created this universe and stuff like that. I'm sketchy on necessarily believing if it was like a true guy named Jesus that walked the earth. But I do believe it in a God and stuff like that, because it's like when you search more in you look at the history and stuff like that. Um, even when we came to this land, America, whatever, we was never Christians or followed the Western religion. We lived under the sun. We worshiped the sun and stuff like that. We saw the sun as the ultimate form of life, which it is, because in this world, if the sun is not there, nothing
We don't.
lives.
Nothing lives, right?
So it's kind of like, and then when you see all the stuff that, like, you want to know the most confusing part about religion is because if you really like look at the Bible and the book of Revelations and stuff like that, it will say that all this stuff is going to happen and everything. But then it'll also say in the Bible certain stuff like that, like they gave, like, they said in the Bible that, slaves had to obey their earthly masters. I can't remember. It was also one scripture that seemed like it was uh condoning rape. Um, it's just a lot of stuff that was written that people don't really break it down in the context. They automatically assume that since it's in the Bible, it's right. But if you really read the book, not from a I'm trying to be closer to Jesus perspective, or I'm trying to be the devote in my faith, whatever, and read it and put your logical sense on stuff, you'll probably find a lot of shit that you like, what the fuck did he say that, like, what, I'm supposed to do that? And because what people do is they go into the Bible and they get the verses that are um best suited for what they think. And I won't lie, I'm guilty of doing that, especially when I was on my whole marijuana thing and shit, and I was breaking down what the Bible said about the herbs and shit and stuff like that. And even though the Bible does give us right over all things on earth, including the plants and the trees, but like people do that, they basically like go to the Bible, and when they want to convey something, they'll look at the verse like, this is what he said, this is what he said. But then when they see a verse that's in the Bible that don't sound right, they'll try to be like, they'll try to make it seem like, well, it's in the Bible, it's right, knowing it's wrong, and this is what Jesus says, so you gotta do it. Like, it's just confusing. Like, religion has become real confusing in today's world. Like,
Well, see, that's the thing, and people get offended when you ask questions
yeah,
because you want a better understanding of certain things, and you realize that the shit just don't make sense. You telling me, I get you're like a whole religious person and everything, but I got questions about this, got that. You know what I mean? Like this, it doesn't make sense, and people get offended by it and they automatically dismiss and that's a big issue with religion. That's one of the reasons why I'm not religious at all. Is because like you question it, you got a whole little war about to start over that.
and then
Like
it's
and
like,
there were wars start over that, over beliefs and shit like that.
you
So
should
it's
you should
insane.
question you should question everything you read and stuff, especially when you know that the Bible wasn't written by God himself. It was written by man. And then it's like, we 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 have to have faith to believe in a God or Jesus, right? Because
Hmm.
truth be told, when we die, until we die, we're not going to know for sure if it's really a heaven or hell, if it's really a God or Jesus. We go by faith, and we go by the visions that we see in the world of how they portray Jesus. But meanwhile, we've never seen Jesus. And there's no physical evidence that he actually walked this earth, which is so fucking confusing, because it's like you're telling people he risen, you say, oh, he risen and everything like that, and um he's walked this earth and stuff. Meanwhile, we don't got no logs, We don't got no tombstone saying what nothing. We don't got no doctor's appointments, no nothing. So it's
I
hard to like.
don't even think they had doctor's appointments back
Yeah,
then.
I'm just saying. They ain't saying that he
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 said
walked,
doctor's appointment.
saying he walked on water.
There's plenty of Jesuses that had. There's plenty of Jesuses that had doctor's appointment. You got Jesus, another
And
guy,
like
Jesus.
by no means like I'm not no on no, because some people just like straight up like atheists, like they don't believe in shit. I do believe it was a God that created this earth, but my thing is, do I believe he actually had a son? That's my only thing. Like I believe in God, but do I believe he actually had a son? Like that's the hardest thing because you don't know. And like, if I die today or tomorrow, whatever, and he actually does exist, I will hope that God don't hold that against me.
Well, they say
But
that they say that there's proof that the Great Flood existed. Noah's Ark and stuff like that.
yeah,
They said there's proof. Science, if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong, but I watched this video and I read it before, and I think they said that there's proof that the flood did happen. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I read. And the thing is, you're not gonna find evidence of Jesus if he was dead and he arisen. You're not gonna find nobody because the body's not there no more. You're not gonna have evidence of him walking this earth or anything. Then you gotta realize too, a lot of it's recognized all over the world. Some of it wasn't forced, some was forced, but it was talked about. Jesus been talked about like forever. And do I think the person existed? Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think so.
and you want to know?
Because that's like the thing about this. And that's like all the great things Martin Luther King did, right? Imagine 3,000 years later, stuff like that. And they're trying to say, oh, he never existed, or it's a myth that he was killed, like, and all the other stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna raise from the grave, like motherfucker, I was here. Saying no, I wasn't even
Like,
here when he.
Martin Luther
Yeah,
King gonna raise, you know what I mean? So,
but
I
it's
mean,
physical proof that he's existed. You
yeah,
know
it is
why? Because
physical proof.
he
Yeah, it
has a
is physical proof.
bloodline. He has daughters and sons that are still living that carry on his legacy. And then they have grandchildren. Like his bloodline is solidified. Like I've never met Jesus's niece, uh, Jesus's uncle, or Jesus's grandpa. Like so
Well, shit, you gotta remember, everything in the Bible don't make sense. That's true. Um, Mary was a virgin.
Mary was a virgin and had an
Mary was a
immaculate
virgin.
conception. But biology tells us that how can Mary be a virgin if she has AIDS? That's like I don't think there's anybody in the world that has just like no any woman besides Mary. We're gonna say besides Mary because the Bible says she has a immaculate conception. But there's no woman in the world that has ever given birth without being fertilized with a man's seed. So I don't know. But you want to know something? I think that
I mean, I don't know. Adam, look, Adam was
you know
created
what will
on earth,
make
right?
religion more believable and people really I think not even be questioning stuff if they never gave Jesus a face. If they never gave Jesus a face, then people would like because the thing that's very suspect and suspicious is that you say Jesus is real, and we know that nobody has from our time, nobody has ever seen him, and we going by what the book is saying, but you gave him a white face. So you gave him a white face, and everybody, as the dictionary is so associates white with pureness and freeness and stuff like that. So why he gotta have a white face? Why he can't just be blank? Like, why when you all these pictures we see of Jesus on the internet, why can't he just have a blank face?
There are
Like,
some there are some that do. And here's the thing. This is how you can tell people are retarded though. I never believed Jesus was white. And when I actually read the Bible and how they described him, and I looked at the picture
described him
when
as
I was a
black.
kid, I said, I'm looking to the left like, fuck is up there? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? And I'm like, what is that? And you know, history, I put it this is what I honestly believe. Truth is out there.
Mhm.
It's just buried. It's buried beneath wars, uh, stealing and thieves and all. There is a lot of things that are missing out of the Bible that belong in the Bible. There's a lot of things in history in general that's covered up and sealed that we probably won't in this lifetime. We'll probably never see. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's not to knock anybody's beliefs or anything, but yeah, you're always gonna have questions about it, and you always could point out a certain fact, like, hold on, man, that shit don't make no sense. Like, even remember back in the day, in the Bible, what's that link I sent before? You give a prostitute a loaf of bread and you good. I said,
Yeah, a loaf of bread for a
a loaf,
prostitute's
yeah,
fee.
loaf of bread for a prostitute. Say, what the fuck? Like, it's so crazy that, it's so crazy shit that you'll just be like, what? Like, you wouldn't believe it, but you have to be willing to hear it out, accept it, and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
What's that? Is that Jamaica? Oh,
That's my watch somewhere going on. It has an alarm.
man, fuck
It's
that motherfucker. Turn that shit off. Shit sounding like a bomb and shit. I'm up here thinking your house about to explode. I'm Nick. No. It's like
nah. That watch is when I worked with TSA. That was my alarm to wake up when I had to go to work at 4 o'clock in the damn morning. So, yeah.
but I think
And
that
ironically, it really did work. It really did wake me up, though.
I can't have a watch like that probably wouldn't wake me up. So, but I think we covered a lot for tonight
We definitely did.
in a little 2 hour span. I feel like this was one of the more serious type
Yeah, it was
podcasts.
serious. It was serious. I think, and truth be told, it's serious because we got a lot of uncertainty out there right now. You know, it
Yeah,
really is because people still don't understand and grasp that. What happens around the world affects us, whether directly or indirectly. It's going to affect us. But also, like you said earlier, and I'm glad you said it, we are all human beings, no matter the color of our skins. We're all human. We share that bond with everyone.
yes
You
we
know what I
do.
mean? So it's just fucking, it's sad, It's sad. Like, we what, so far in our lifetime, how many wars we done witnessed,
Well, in my
live,
lifetime,
live through?
I would say this is the first one. I didn't really, well, I mean, if you want to consider the war on terrorism, then
Yeah, you gotta consider it.
yeah, but I never really considered that a
Fighting,
war. I
killing,
just think that
shooting.
the US did what they did. I Iraq, that wasn't a war. Like, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know.
You're basically calling it like the Vietnam John.
That
What
shit was
war?
like slaughter. Like, but I mean, yeah, like you were saying, we like I said earlier, we all are humans. We all under the human race at the end of the day. So, I feel like you have to be a sick individual to not feel some type of way. I feel like the people that's running for shelter or trying to protect their families are deserving of that. Um, War is war and war is bad. Like, I'm not like I understand. Like I'm not, my thing is like I don't want war, but I understand why they happen. And sometimes you can't prevent it, but with these people, you just feel for them. And I hope that the people over in Ukraine, I hope that they get through it, and I hope that they are able to protect their families, and I hope that God is with them and protecting them while they're going through this. And I know it's probably people that's in Russia that don't agree with what Russia's doing as well. And
Oh,
I
it's a
hope
lot.
that yeah, they said they was protesting over there and people was getting arrested. I hope that they can get the message through to Russia, and hopefully that Russia stops what they're doing, because war is bad. And that's really all I gotta say. I would say that it's the Black Frequency Podcast. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Spotify, my SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple's iTunes. Follow me on Instagram, Black Frequency Podcast 2020. Um, and then just follow and subscribe. I'm gonna get off. We're gonna keep providing y'all with more content and stuff. I know I was on hiatus for 2 months, so the people that tuned in regularly, I'm sorry for that, but we getting it started again, and it's gonna be episodes every week from here on out. So yeah, got my co-host Nick Bean, Nick aka Espinoza Harris. You got anything to say before we tune out?
In my Ice Cube voice. Yay, yay. We out.
All right, we out. Black Frequency Podcast. Subscribe and follow.
What you gonna do with it? Gonna do with it? Spin it all around to the ground. Foot screw with it. You like Weezy, girl? Drop it like it's hot. If you like Weezy, then I got it on the block. The riders on the block. Baby fired and a pilot on my block. What you gonna do with it? Pull through with it. Spin it all around to the ground. Foot screw with it. They say I'm doing great. Yeah, this is my song now. Where the keys? Where the keys? Where the keys to the car? Let me start it. Let me leave. Let me leave. Where you going, man? I'm going to the club.